Hello and welcome back to another video. I finished taking all my exams today, so I can finally make this video going over the final race of the K1 Speed Teen Challenge GP season. Let's get into it. Here we are starting off with one of three onboards we're looking over today. This is my good friend Andrew, my best friend at K1, and let's get into the race start. Here we go. He qualified all the way down in P5, not great for him. You can see Riley covers him off really well into turn 1. Some bumping, aggressive bumping through here. You got someone on his left, but he will be able to. That's actually me on his left. I just noticed my boobs. There it was on his left, and he is able to push me out wide and hold the position. Now the person ahead of him, Drew Daigle, they are currently split by just 1 point for second place in the championship going into this race, which doesn't sound like much, but hey, second place is a $40 gift card. Third place is a $20 gift card. Sounds like a lot to me. So he is really going to be trying to catch Drew right now, because if the race finished as it stands, they would have to go into a race-off for second place. So that was pretty much Drew's whole race goal as he hits the wall right there. He is really struggling this card. He told me after the race he did not like it whatsoever. So let's skip ahead to some of the many scenes of action that happened in this race. So here we are, a good few laps later, where we're going to see some nice wheel-to-wheel racing that you don't see very much around these tight indoor karting tracks. As you can see, some position changes going on ahead of him, and I get side by side with him down this back straight a bit, but it was not close enough to really make a move at all. So here he comes through here, really trying to get as close up to Riley and Drew as possible, as Drew goes to the outside of Riley, but he's not going to be able to get that move done. Now we are 4 cars. The car ahead in the front, Riley is currently in second place. Andrew is currently in fourth. Drew is currently in third. I'm currently down in fifth. You'll know why I was so low later in the video. But yeah, this is very, very big for the championship right now, between Andrew and Drew. Similar names fighting for the championship. But yeah, he is going to be pushing absolutely flat out in this car. That, yeah, I could definitely see. It was not turning very well. It hella understeer. With how he's moving his hands, looks like it was pretty difficult to turn. But he will definitely be trying to put everything in. See, they're starting to pull away soon, so maybe skip ahead a few laps to get to the battling, because I know Andrew does send some moves later in this race, so let's go to that. But first, I just want to say I feel really bad for Bethany. She had dislocated her hip the week before. She still came here and raced, but in the end, she was struggling to turn the car. She had to get out, and then wasn't able to finish the final race of the season to become the first ever DNF in the league's history. So hopefully she can come back and have a much stronger season next in January. So now we can actually get to the next part of Andrew's onboard. Now, in my personal opinion, this is where Andrew sold the championship, and he could have easily held on to this move. But comment what you think. As you can see, he goes up to the inside of Drew, and right here he is clear for a split second that you can see on the offboard clip. I do feel like right there he should have been able to cover off and get that move done. And even if he wasn't able to cover off, he could have definitely done a better job at staying to the middle of the track and really forcing him to the inside. But yeah, I think that was the point where he begins to drop back after this. Was not able to keep piling the pressure on, and yeah, that is what caused him to take third in the championship instead of second. He had a really good run in the the last few bits of the season, but here we are, safety car. This kid Rowan is his third race, I think. He was running in P3, but he was spun by Riley. Riley was deemed not at fault, but personally, you'll see in her onboard, I think she was at fault, and she should have been dropped back for it. But yeah, that is almost the end of the action in Drew's onboard. There's one more thing we have to look at, so let's get right to that. Now, just a few minutes later, safety car restart. So let's see what he can do here, and boom, there I am to take the position from him, which would be 4th place at this point. We did talk about before the race me trying to work together with him to help him catch Drew, but he really wasn't really piling on the pressure well enough. So, and I saw the opportunity, so I just took it. As you can see, he got a little angry at me and kind of rammed into the back of my cart there for a second, but. Yep, that's pretty much the end of the action when Drew's on. Ooh. Oh. Forgot about that one. Yeah, he was spun, and that guy ran into him at probably over 30 miles an hour. Huge impact. He had a giant bruise on his leg. So, yeah, that is definitely the end of the action for his race. To conclude, not the best end of the season, but overall a pretty decent run for him. So let's get on to Riley's on board. But first, I do want to give a special thank you to all of the trackside employees at K1 Speed New Orleans for helping out with 2 big crashes in that race that day, with Bethany and her hurt hip, allowing her to DNF and helping her out with it, and going through some stuff with Drew to try to make sure he's okay and really make sure he's not just pushing through it, and giving him time to recover from the wreck before having him go out again. But with that, let's get back to the video. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. If you want longer videos, leave it in the comments and I'll bring it into consideration. But Riley starting P4, pretty average qualifying result for her. But you can see Rowan goes down inside of Drew, and then she follows in right behind him. Some really good racecraft from her there. That's definitely her strong suit, as she does insane overtakes all the time. Is definitely the best at overtaking around this track out of everyone here. The onboard camera was at a bit of a weird angle. I'm not sure why, but let's just go and quick fire all the stuff that happened in her race. Now here's some great wheel-to-wheel racing as she tries to get past Rowan, but ends up getting overtaken back by Drew. She goes down the inside, but not quite enough. Rowan's going to force her wide. A bit too wide. That was not the best from him. Drew's going to go right down the inside, and I do believe Riley gets him back pretty soon. Yeah, Drew's going to be off his normal racing line through here. Riley gives him a bit of a push, but yeah, no real opportunities quite yet. Ooh, there we go. This is where it is. He had a bit of a slide with a bit of a nudge from Riley, but she got past and hit the wall pretty hard there. But next up, I do believe would be her spinning Rowan, which we'll go to now. Now here we are going into the corner that she does end up spinning Rowan. Now just watch. Please tell me who you think is at fault here. Yeah, she definitely was not side-by-side enough, in my personal opinion. The rule is to be 3/4 length, but I don't think that was 3/4 of her cart there. She should have probably backed out, but my opinion doesn't matter. So the workers at K1 decided Rowan is at fault, and he lost like 3 places, and Riley didn't lose any. Now we're finally on to my onboard. I qualified all the way down in P6 because of a extremely bouncy cart in qualifying, but here we go. We have this kid Michael to my right. Yeah, not the best line starting P6. It pretty much just gives P7 position just about every time. I go side by side with Drew briefly, but he's going to force me wide. Open the opportunity for Michael to come back down. He does get ahead of me for a second, but he leaves the space. I take that position right back. He comes back side by side at me, but the defense telling him to move to the right a bit there, squeeze me into the wall. But now head down, and we're going to try to help out Andrew to catch Drew up ahead, and if not, overtake him, which you already know I do. So that overtake is pretty much the only other entertaining thing that happened in this race, so let's just get right to that. Now here we are, safety car restart, and green flag should be dropping right about now. Here we go, racing once again after the spin, and opportunity shows itself. Go right by, and yeah, it's pretty much the end of the action of my race, so let's head over to the podium. So here was the final podium of the K1 Speed New Orleans December Heat, or GP12, final race of the season. P3, Riley. P2, Drew. And P1, Ben. I'm not sure if I've talked about Ben in my previous videos, but this was only his 4th race ever. He showed up November last year, took second, didn't show up again until September this year, qualified on pole, took second, then he had a bad race in October, finished like P8, then came back for December and qualified pole and won by 41 seconds. Keep in mind, he has no gloves, none of his own gear, no sim rig, and he's completely self-taught aside from the minor tips that I've given him since he's come back. So I cannot wait for him to become consistent next season and have to fight with him for the championship. But yeah, amazing race from all 3 of them. They didn't make very many mistakes whatsoever. But we now can go over to the championship podium. Now here are your final top 3 drivers for the Cayman Speed New Orleans Teen Challenge GP Championship. P3, Andrew Knoll, 60 points, 2 wins. P2, Drew Daigle, 62 points, 3 wins. And P1, myself, Jude Vicknair, 70 points and 5 race wins. It was an amazing season from everyone all around. I will be making a full season recap soon, probably post it sometime next week. And now this did allow me to get in one final shoey for the 2025 season, and looking forward to many more next year. Thanks for watching. Make sure to tune into other videos, and peace.